All right, all right, all right. Give me 1 second, boys. Those who are here, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, cousins, brothers, fathers, degenerates. Okay. I think I'm live, right? I'm not 100% sure if I'm live, so let me just double check. Let's talk Obi-WOKE Kenobi. Uh, you know what's crazy? I think last time I did something with the. Let me see if I can edit. Yeah, but I can. I wanted to see if I can do something with the thumbnail. Um, it's crazy. Last time I did something with the thumbnail, and it did come up. I'm gonna try to live stream, I guess, at night. I know there's a couple of degenerates around this time because I watch a lot of Nick Ricada videos, and I know there's plenty of degenerates up at this time. So I'll be a degenerate with you guys. I don't know how last time I was able to change the thumbnail, but it is what it is. Let me see if I can do it with my phone. Let me see if I can do it with my phone, and if not, we're gonna rock and roll. This is live, so there's gonna be a lot of airtime or dead air. Hope you guys will give me some mercy, you degenerates, because we stay unbreaded. Yo, I really gotta find out what the hell unbreaded means. But I'm a degenerate, so I don't know. All right, so this is the thing. I'm gonna watch some of Daily Wire's coverage on the new series Obi-Wan Kenobi. Apparently, they think they're woke. I just give you my quick thoughts on Kenobi. I watched all 3 episodes. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it or liked it. It was just meh. Like I don't know what to say. Like I feel like they were telling a story that didn't have to be told. Right? I think that this story probably should have come out like 20 years ago or 10 years ago instead of now. To me, just it's more of this era that we already know. Like I don't know where you're gonna take the character of Kenobi, where we don't already know what he's gonna do, right? Like we know he's gonna go back to Tatooine eventually. We know that Leia is gonna get rescued. There's gonna be maybe I don't know where they can go with this character and this story at this point. Part of me wishes that we just move on, for God's sakes. Let me make sure that my audio okay. Yeah, part of me just wishes they will move on, from God's sake, and just try something new. But I guess they gotta milk it a little bit more until there's nothing left from this era, because there's so much more to explore, in my opinion, at this point. But I didn't see it as woke for any reason, and I didn't see the backlash that one of the actors is getting, apparently. So we're gonna watch 2 videos, one from Ben Shapiro and then one from Brett Cooper. Hopefully they can educate me more on what's going on. And then I'm gonna watch another video from this other guy that I love a lot. I guess I'll look for his YouTube channel where the video is playing, just because I really respect his opinion when it comes to Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars. All right, so let's begin. Let's look at Ben Shapiro. What is he up to? What is that degenerate up to? Okay, all right, Ben. What you got? All right, Ben. What's up?
Their content as racist. So Star Wars is now preemptively. Hollywood is now. They've come up with a new way of defending against making crap content. Their new way of defending against making crap content is to slander everybody who doesn't like their content as racist. So Star Wars has now preemptively done this. So you remember they did this with The Last Jedi. So there is a character in The Last Jedi called Rose. Rose is a terrible character. Like a really, really bad character that no one cared about and is boring and terrible.
Yeah,
and people noted this. So immediately, you started to see think pieces about the toxic fandom of The Last Jedi, the toxic fandom of Star Wars. It wasn't that they had created a crappy character. A major media conglomerate, using the most famous IP in history, had made a crappy character and inserted that crappy character into a crappy movie, The Last Jedi. Now, the problem was people didn't like that character. And the reason they didn't like the character is because she was Asian, clearly. Now, what was weird is that nobody, except for apparently the Chinese audience, actually cared that Finn, who's a black character, was in the...
I know that she was getting a lot of hate, but it was because she was a bad character. Or like she didn't really belong in the story, or they didn't have a purpose in the story. Plus, the script was really bad all around. I know specifically she got some hate, but I don't remember getting in. I mean, and listen, I like Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but I don't remember her getting any hate specifically for her race or for her gender. It's just one of those characters that people didn't really want to pay attention to. So, okay.
The Force Awakens. And Finn was not hit by an overwhelming wave of American racism in The Force Awakens. It was just Rose who was hit with supposedly an overwhelming wave of racism, mainly because Finn's character is not nearly as crappy as Rose's character in the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
So, by the way, when I talk about Chinese racism, what I mean is that Disney, in making The Force Awakens, actually removed they removed Finn from the Chinese posters because there's so much anti-black racism in China. Okay, so this is the new model, apparently, for Disney and the Star Wars universe, is to preemptively declare that if you are, that we know that we made a character who isn't really very likable, but if the character is a minority and you don't like the character, clearly this is because you're a racist. Clearly. Okay, so Star Wars put out a preemptive tweet. It was a preemptive tweet. Like, I've yet to see, I'm seeing a lot of talk about the toxic fandom of Star Wars. I haven't seen anybody beyond people with like 2 Twitter followers tweeting stuff about
this. When people mention like toxic fan bases, every fan base is toxic. I have never encountered one fan base that was a delight to be in. Eventually, all of them just turned toxic immediately. I mean, Star Wars, Minecraft, Fortnite, like Call of Duty was hella toxic. Battlefield, I mean, anything. I mean, literally, there's not a single fan base on Earth that is not toxic. But that's just here and there.
Moses Ingram. According to, but Star Wars tweeted out, like the people who run the Star Wars account, quote, "We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we have only one thing to say. We resist." Okay, wait, so that is preemptive, right? If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we're not even saying you're being racist to her. We're saying if you might think about being racist to her by not liking her character, we resist because you're bad. You're really, really... Now, here's the thing. Moses Ingram is actually a pretty good actress. She played Lady Macduff in the Joel Cohen production of Macbeth, and she's very good in it. And
if you shop on Amazon, you should use this tool. No. It's a browser extension.
Yeah. Shut up.
She's really good. I haven't seen her performance in Obi-Wan because I haven't watched a single minute of Obi-Wan because, frankly, I find the entire series kind of insulting. I don't care what happened to Obi-Wan between episodes 3 and 4. I don't care at all. Like, it doesn't matter to me. That's not an important part of the story.
Okay.
It's just you trying to suck the life out of an old character who has actual name recognition and then drive value for Disney Plus, which then uses that money in order to indoctrinate kids in the not so secret gay agenda, according to their own employees. So I'm like not interested, right? This is why Daily Wire is dumping $100 million into creating kids content.
Oh no!
With that said, that is a preemptive attack on the audience. And then Star Wars said there are more than 20 million sentient species in the Star Wars galaxy. Don't choose to be a racist. Okay. Who are these people? Who are they talking to? Can they names?
He keeps saying preemptive, and I'm looking at their Twitter right now. I'm gonna just show my screen. I'm looking at the Twitter, and I don't really see where that tweet came from. I mean, he showed it, so it's somewhere around here. But I can find it. I mean, I guess he's trying to say that. Can't find it anywhere. I guess he's trying to say that before the show came out, they threw this kind of tweet basically saying if anyone criticizes us, then F it. I know for sure there's this video by Ian McGregor, right? Ian McGregor. Imagine I mess it up. where he discusses.
Again, Star Wars fans made Obi-Wan Kenobi the most watched Disney Plus original series premiere of all time. And for that, I would say a big thank you. And it just goes to show what this family can do when we all pull together. However, it seems that some of the fan base from this influential fan base have decided to attack Moses Ingram online and send her the most horrendous racist DMs. And I heard some of them this morning and it just broke my heart. Moses is a brilliant actor. She's a brilliant woman. And she's absolutely amazing in this series. She brings so much to the series. She brings so much to the franchise. And it just sickened me to my stomach to hear that this is
okay, like that.
I just want to say...
I did see messages that she got a bunch of hate messages. You know, but it's the internet. I mean, what do you expect? But I don't know why Ben is calling it woke. like sometimes I follow him and I'm like, I can see where you're coming from, but sometimes he loses me. And I watched all 3 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, I don't consider it woke by any means. Woke, I know that's not what he means, but it's not really. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. It's not really woke. I don't think there's any. Like, if any. Oh, there's 3 people in the chat. If I know that maybe none of you see this show, but this show called Young Justice. It's basically, it's not like Teen Titans from back in the 90s or whatever, but it's a show. Let me see if I can show you a picture. It's a show on HBO, and it's basically like the Justice League, but you follow the sidekick. So you follow a Nightwing, Superboy, Kid Flash, I think Aquaboy. It's not Aquaboy. It's this show right here. It's this show. I don't know if any of you ever watched it, but it's this show. This show, the first season is amazing. The second and third are iffy, and then the third one goes full LGBTQ. I mean, they have a polyamorous relationship with like a fish and a guy and a girl. They have like this robot that took over the body of a Muslim girl. So she has no gender, so she calls herself they. Really freaking annoying the whole time. She has what else do they have? I mean, everyone is bi apparently. That show, everyone's turning gay, bi. They only have one heterosexual relationship. Like the show became extremely woke on the 4th season, but Obi-Wan is not woke. Obi-Wan is just meh. Like, I didn't find it entertaining at all. The first 3 episodes, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Like Sam right there, we get into arguments all the time over Star Wars because he thinks the prequels are fucking amazing. They're garbage. But we get into arguments all the time. But like, I love Star Wars. I have no reason to hate on Obi-Wan, or no reason to like. I have no reason to like. I don't know. It's just hello. It's not woke. I don't know why Ben thinks it's woke. Just because they send a couple of tweets just warning people to stop hating on the poor actress, the black actress. I don't know. That's all I have to say about it. Like, it's really not. Obi-Wan is not really an entertaining show. It has 3 more episodes. Hopefully it picks up, but I don't know. I don't really like it. It's meh. It's all right. I just wanted to go over this. This thing was just Star Wars and Obi-Wan. I would love to talk about Young Justice, but I need somebody else to talk about it with, because I don't want nobody, accusing me of being like transphobic or like homophobic. I just, all right. So this is what we're gonna do. F Obi-Wan. You know what? I kind of wanted to watch this show. This guy. I'm all over the place. It's because there's 2 people here, so I feel the pressure on me. So, so y'all fault. I was perfectly fine streaming by myself, saying stupid shit. Nobody was watching. So usually when it comes to Star Wars content, it's this guy who I watch. It's Thor Skywaker. I think he puts up great pieces. So let's just watch a little bit of what he thinks.
When you freshen your breath with scope, you
stop
enter
sharing.
the irresistible scope.
Now, just a little warning before we begin. There will be major spoilers in this video for the first 3 episodes of Kenobi. So if you haven't seen them yet and you don't want anything ruined,
It is a really good time.
If he thinks he's woke, then I guess I miss something.
Okay, so to the surprise of probably no one, thus far the Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus has not been the universally loved piece of Star Wars content that maybe some fans had hoped it would be. It hasn't been that which brings all or a vast, vast majority of the fan base together, keeping in mind, though, that literally nothing is going to be loved by everyone, which isn't to say that a lot of fans haven't been enjoying all or most of the series thus far. And if that's you, if you're nothing but happy with Kenobi, I think that's great, and I'm not here to change your mind or sour your enjoyment or anything like that. I myself, though it's been far from perfect, I found plenty of enjoyment in it thus far, but there are certainly aspects of it that aren't great, and there are fans who have raised some valid concerns or pointed out some issues with it. Problems with everything from the writing itself to the continuity with the films or potential continuity. We do have to wait and see how it all plays out and will come together.
Yeah, I noticed some continuity issues for those guys that really care about timelines and stuff. Technically speaking, they're not supposed to meet until episode 4. But it didn't really bother me. It's weird because usually when it comes to timeline and Star Wars, everything bothers me. Either I really don't care about the show this much, or yeah, I don't know.
Or won't come together in the end. Then there are what appears to be some pretty major retcons, like the Grand Inquisitor seemingly being killed by Reva despite being in Rebels, which will take place after the series.
Oh, hold up.
There are also those who maybe think the show doesn't focus on Kenobi enough.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I thought the Grand Inquisitor, yes, because the Grand Inquisitor died in, I believe it was Star Wars Rebels. And when he died here, I thought there was maybe like a young Inquisitor or like maybe a predecessor or something like that. But damn, they're fucking up with the time.
Enough that other characters are kind of stealing the spotlight or just outsmarting him at every single turn. That Kenobi just isn't very smart in this and keeps making dumb mistakes or decisions, like walking down the middle of a road on a planet controlled by Imperials while trying to hide from Imperials. Then along the same line,
I thought he was just rusty. I mean, the guy has not been in action for like 10 years. So I thought he was making a lot of idiotic mistakes. I guess you cannot really forgive something for making stupid mistakes. I mean, you live in a desert planet for 10 years. That's going to mess you up a little bit, right?
There are those who simply don't like or disagree with the way Kenobi is being handled overall, that he is way too broken, and disagree with him having given up on nearly everything he once believed in. But they can't believe he'd ever be so far gone that he'd sit back and watch Darth Vader, who is, of course, Anakin, his former apprentice, that he'd watch him murdering people in the street. And though, yeah, he does eventually go out there and face Vader, he just ends up pretty much running away from him like a cop.
Okay, either Star Wars fans are pissing me off or they're retarded. Because, I mean, Obi-Wan is broken. It's been 10 years since he has used the Force. He's been hiding on a desert planet. He doesn't practice. He literally goes to work, comes back to his house all the way in the desert, doesn't interact with people. It's not, I don't know. This is all within a character. I mean, he literally killed his best friend, cut him in half, saw him burning alive, and didn't help him.
Forward, you might say.
Why?
And so there are plenty of fans who feel like this is the last Jedi Luke all over again, or that it's even worse than that was. There are those who think they are just utterly destroying this character right now. And yeah, I know this is where some will say, why can't fans just enjoy Star Wars instead of nitpicking and complaining about everything in regards to it? Why do Star Wars fans hate Star Wars more than anybody else? Why can't they just be thankful and or grateful to have any of it at all? And well, first of all, or to the...
I mean, when you looked at Star Wars The Last Jedi, the problem that I had was that Luke was a completely different character. I mean, he attempted to assassinate his own nephew just because he had visions that he turned to the dark side, I believe it was. Given the fact that he tried to help his father, who was Darth Vader, get away from the dark side. Like, that didn't fit his character at all, and it really messed him up. But seeing Obi-Wan broken, having nightmares, not wanting to help, feeling like the Jedi, the time of the Jedi is over, all of that makes sense to me. But this is what Star Wars fans are complaining.
the latter half of that statement I hear from so many people who don't like the complaining, which if you don't like it, that's fine, but I don't think most people complaining are really trying to ruin your enjoyment. But anyway, why not just be grateful to have Star Wars at all? Well, because it's not like Disney and Lucasfilm are just giving Star Wars away. You do have to pay for it and thus have every right to say how much bang for your buck you feel like you're getting. I mean, imagine making the same argument about, well, pretty much any other type of service or business out there. Imagine arguing you shouldn't complain about a restaurant with poor food and or service, that you should just be grateful that you paid for food and they served it to you. And before you say films and or shows are different somehow, that they're a form of art or something like that, plenty of chefs out there, and I spent years of my life working in a kitchen, plenty of chefs out there very much consider what they do a form of art. But like it or not, and again, I understand if you're someone who doesn't like the nitpicking and all the criticism, you just want to enjoy Star Wars. I get that, and I respect that, and that's fine. You don't have to watch any of my nitpicky videos if that's you. But even though I get it, I'm going to let Hayden Christensen answer why this is something that can and should be acceptable. And he's going to answer it with a recent quote when he was asked about all the backlash he faced playing Anakin Skywalker back during the prequels. I think it just goes back to the sort of ownership that people feel towards these characters. It's almost public domain. These characters really do belong to everybody. And first of all, well said by him.
New York homeowners, if you're tired of paying too much money for
We're not paying for this.
and have a history of paying your bills on time.
That's one of the best answers I've ever heard any Star Wars actor give to any Star Wars related question in history. And so basically what he's saying here is the reason why people will nitpick and complain is because they care. They really care about these characters and have a sense of ownership over them. They feel like they know them on some sort of personal level. So when they act out of character, they take that personally as well. They oftentimes feel like they are being handled by someone who just doesn't understand them, or worse yet, by someone who just wants to change them and use them to
Okay, I got enough. To me, it seems like Star Wars fans are complaining about nothing, and the right is complaining about wokeness when there's no wokeness to be seen. When it comes to the acting, I mean, they have the little girl that plays Leia. I mean, she's a little girl, but there's certain scenes that it seems obvious that they're acting. Like there's a scene where she's running away from kidnappers, and she's running away from kidnappers, and the kidnappers literally stand in front of her. They do this, and you can see the little girl going up, and like takes a second to readjust and goes another direction, right? So it's obviously that it's fake and he's acting. Like she's, to me, is breaking immersion at that point, because I can see that it's just a little girl and they don't want to like rough her up and grab her, something like that, right? So like that character of Riva, whatever her name is, it's not an interesting character. I mean, I don't really care about this era. Like I'm ready to move on to do something else. I mean, there's nothing new in this story that we're going to talk about. You know, there's nothing, there's no groundbreaking anything, right? So that's about it. I'm not going to talk about Obi-Wan anymore. I kind of got the gist. It seems to me it's a lot of complaining. The story is meh. Let's talk about H3H3, because that's the video that I actually wanted to make. It's 2:57, bro. So I'll be honest, guys. I don't know if I'll be able to. Let me. Can I edit the there we go. Fresh and fit. It's fake exposed by H3H3. Exposed. I feel kind of weird. Fake exposed. Exposed, right? It says changes. Why exposed? Pretty sure exposed is not what it be. Let's do this. Fresh and fit, fake, expose. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Let's go over H3H3 video that they did on Fresh and Fit. Right, I get the gist of Kenobi. Seems kind of like dumb to me, to be honest. Seems like a lot of whining from Star Wars fans. But that's literally everybody. Give me a second, boys. There it is. Okay, so this is the thing. The interview, I believe, is like an hour. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second.
Active about me that he wants. I think I'm pretty simple, cheat, and women.
It's weird and inappropriate that.
Like I spoke to Sam when I before.
You sound great. Yeah, I think the echo's gone. So you appeared at the big.
Okay, there you go. So this is the beginning. So we covered this one on the podcast. We kind of focus on like half of it. I just gave Sam the gist of it, and we discussed it, and then we moved on. But there's a lot more to the story that I wanted to talk about. So what is left from the clip is about an hour, and I don't know if I can focus on H3H3 for a whole freaking hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pull up a game that I'm gonna be focused on, and hopefully being able to multitask. And if not, I'll call it a day. I'm not tired. It was supposed to be my rest day, and I got like nothing. I got no carbs today, so it is what it is. Give me 1 second. The game is loading. So I guess while the game loads, let's just watch H3H3 being a freaking moron. Share. Where is it? Jesus Christ. And can I do this? Okay, if I do this, can I click on this? And are you guys seeing it though? No, you guys are not seeing it because you guys seeing whatever I see. Okay. What the fuck is going on with this bullshit? This is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. I'm streaming. I'm struggle streaming right now. Give me a few. I'm so lost. Like, where's the fucking clip, man? Where's my clip? Can I find it here? Interesting. Okay, the game is ready up. Give me 5 seconds. Let me just put it to the side, and what I'm going to do is that hopefully there's not a lot of lag while I'm playing the game. The video is playing. Come on, boys. Come on, boy. To the full screen. Borders off. Okay. H3H3. Now I just gotta find the stupidest video. Movies and TVs. That's not what it is. Photos. Blows mine. I literally did it the other day. That's crazy. You gotta be kidding me. Can't do this. No, I can't. Uh-huh. TM. I'm struggle streaming right now. I can't find what I'm looking for. That's wild, brother. That's mad. That's mad. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's wild. Sorry, guys. You're gonna have to. Yeah, I can just open this. Yeah, there it is.
2.
What's up? Okay.
I know it would be fun.
Of course, the women, they still have a
video about us, da 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 da. And then that's when I was smiling because I was like, I'm a fan. So I was just thinking,
you're like, I'm gonna end up on his show talking about this.
Yeah.
What like, was he excited or was he like pissed about it?
No. Well, he was like laughing, but the thing with him is like, I don't have my PhD or anything, but I think he's very easy to read, that he laughs over his insecurities. Like, it's so obvious how like, oh yeah, ha, 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 I'm not mad about this, but he clearly is.
Right.
And he like tries to make it. He does it several times when women debate him. He just laughs over it, but he makes himself look 10 times more stupid. But he did it like that. He was like, "Oh my God, can you believe Ethan? What a guy. He's talking about me. Blah 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 blah." And I was smiling like on the couch, and I was next to Walter, and I look over at Walter, and I said, "So you guys gonna go on the podcast?" And he was like, "We're gonna think about it." And then that's when I said to Walter. And I said to Walter, well, I actually watched the H3 podcast, so. And he was like, yeah, that guy, yeah, I don't know. They were just very, like, they just switched the subject right away.
Oh, okay.
So.
By the way, I just want to note how creepy it is that they're trying to get you group of girls.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Ian.
So he came up to us and he told us, listen, like, when you go on, you have this number of last year.
She was 19 at the time. Now he's trying to monetize it, then work on the division. Can a man or woman have a site? Ready? Absolutely nothing wrong. And I've been to his island many.
This site, where it was a dating type of site, and it was for financially, like relationships. Yeah.
All right.
And
let's do
so
bullshit.
she met Fresh on that site.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they previously had gotten exposed for that. Like, I think a year ago, how they had like a whole dating show, but they were found on this app, so it's kind of contradicting. But she had hung out with him a few times, but it was mostly like they were more friends than anything. So she got pretty close with him, and she ended up flying me out to Miami to visit her for about like a few days. And that's when I had met Fresh myself. So I'm not gonna lie, like, he is a very nice person.
Fresh seems very nice. I mean, he just, he's just kind of there, right? I mean, he's not a very sharp guy, and God bless him for that, right?
Yeah, and we also found out that he actually owns the podcast. It's not Myron. Myron's fit, by the way.
Okay, so maybe you can shed light on some questions we had, because we noticed that Fresh had a lot more followers, and he seems to be wealthy. And I was wondering, how did he get? What's his background?
So basically, what had also, by the way, like I spoke to Sam before I came on, but the reason why I called in was because I saw your videos for a while, and you guys were asking questions that like I knew the answers to, and I was like,
yeah, you're so happy.
Coconuts in Barbados.
What the fuck are you talking?
Coconuts in Barbados, man. It's Wednesday, my dudes.
Yeah. He goes out, and the craziest part too is that he went out to clubs, and my friend had tagged along with him a few times because he invited her out with him, but he doesn't drink, neither does Myron, but they go out to these clubs to, like, I guess, like, speak to people, and like they don't drink like a sip of liquor, like they refuse to.
That's so fucked up. Well,
see, this is where Ian starts messing up. I mean, I don't drink at all, but I don't see what's the problem of you going out to like a club and just not drinking. Because from what they make it seem is like they go to the clubs to basically meet girls.
Well, you know why? They're trying to find drunk girls to take advantage of.
Yeah, of course.
Like, Ian to me sounds like the type of guy who has never really actually gone out. I think he's married and assalamu alaikum, like, I'm happy for you, my guy, but that's not a ton of people go out all the time. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going out to bang or abuse drunken girls.
Holy shit, that's so creepy.
That's not creepy at all, but okay.
But
is that creepy? Like, because listen, I have gone to parties, and look, I'm not a fucking, I'm not a party guy. Like, I can count on one hand how many parties I have gone to, but even in those parties, I didn't really drink that much. Maybe I took a sip of a drink or two, but I didn't really I didn't really drink like
going
that.
out to Miami.
I don't think that's creepy at all.
Day there, I slept the whole day, but my second
Is
day,
that
me and her
creepy?
had gone out to like a little hotel pool party.
It's a lot of lagging. I'm gonna put
after
the game
that,
on the
we went.
back.
He
I don't like
invited
the
us
way
back
it's
to his
lagging,
apartment to
honestly.
have like just to hang out with him and stuff. Because I had talked to him over the phone a few times, but when we went to his apartment, we spoke to him. I met his dog and stuff. He was very cool, down to earth. And then my friend had asked like if we could be on the podcast, and he was like, "Okay, like you guys can come on." So we went on like 2 days later, and then that's when I had my whole experience, like before, during, and after on the podcast.
So what I'm hearing so far is fresh as the brains. He's actually a sweet guy, which I believe. You know, I think the whole funny thing that you're touching on is how they complain about women being gold diggers, but they're finding women to date on on sugar daddy websites. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair point.
The more I get into this stuff,
I mean, that's a fair point, right? Like, that's the thing about those guys that you eventually end up finding out. It's like they keep complaining about the girls, and that girls are only out there to use you and take advantage of you, and they only want you for your money, and it's not, she's not yours, it's just your turn. But meanwhile, you know, you're picking up girls in like sugar daddy sites, you're going out clubs and finding girls. That's not really
off camera.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
They're very, I could say Finn is a very insecure man from my experience with him. But like it's a very hypocritical podcast. I mean, it's already known, but like it's disgusting. I don't know. I just can't stand them.
All right, so tell me about the day, because I know you had some interesting run-ins with Myron, aka Fit. So tell me about the day of the podcast leading up to it. Let's start there.
So the day of the podcast, they have the podcast in like this apartment building. So when we got there, they basically told us the floor to go up to. So when we got up there, you walk in and right away, like they tell you to stay quiet, like stay silent, you can't speak. And they had like a segment going on. Yeah, it was live. So they were telling us.
Pay attention to the way what she's going to be trying to do in the first, like what she's going to try to do in the first few minutes. Which, keep in mind, I don't really like the Fresh and Fit podcast. I don't really like the guys. I think they're a bunch of clowns. But look how she's trying to paint the narrative. Like, this is just another Amber Heard, in my opinion. This is another Amber Alert.
To stay quiet, and then that's when they had us fill out like the consent form, like to be on camera. And they told us to take off our shoes. They said that there's no shoes and no vaping, because they said that if you vape, they think the fire alarm is going to go off. And then that's not true. After that. Yeah. And after that, they finished the segment, and that's when Walter came over to me and my friend, and then all the girls started coming in. And they had like this, I believe he was the sound tech guy, because he kept telling us to speak into the mic, but he told us the rules. So he came up to us and he told us, listen, like when you go on, you have to speak into the mic. You can't interrupt Myron. They said that you can disagree with him until the sun comes up, as long as you wait for your turn and you let him speak. That's what they said.
Yeah.
And they said that, no shoes, of course, and you can't look at yourself in the monitor, like, or the chat. And then there was they also took our phones before we went live. Like they took all of our phones in a basket so we could.
I mean, obviously they're gonna take your phones. Like, why wouldn't they take your damn phones? Because this is the thing. It's like, I have never run a podcast of that size. I'm not gonna lie, obviously, but the reality is that when you have guests and you allow them to use their phones, they're gonna use them, and it's gonna be really distracting to the people watching. So it makes perfect sense for me to why you wouldn't allow the phones. I mean, so far she hasn't said anything crazy to make me believe that like they're horrible fucking people. You know. Jesus Christ, that's not what I wanted to do. Give me a second, guys. You can see it's a professional podcast, live stream.
We use our phones.
Okay. This guy really thinks the dude thinks he's like Dave Chappelle or something. Like the way they have that locked down and stuff is pretty incredible for a small time podcast.
I mean, then are they not small? They got. Let me see. I wouldn't consider them small, but either way, you don't want your guests, Fresh and Fit. You don't want your guests using their phones while you're doing a podcast. You just don't want them. I mean, as much as I don't like them, they have 726,000 subscribers. I don't really consider that small. I mean, compared to Ian, how much? I'm pretty sure. I mean, Ian probably has like double that at least, right? Because he's been in H3H3 podcast. He's been in YouTube for a while. I mean, 2.9 2.96 million. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, so they finished the segment, and then that was the time that we all like mingled with the girls to get to know each other and stuff. And then there was this other guy that worked for him. I just know that he's the one that does the streaming before the live to show people like what's going on behind the scenes and stuff. And he's mostly like the advertiser, like on social media. He just controls. I believe that's what he does. But he came up to me and my friend, and he offered us alcohol. He said like, "Do you guys want a drink?" And I was like, "No, thank you," because like, you know, like I've drank in high school and stuff like that, but I knew I was going on a podcast, so I knew I wanted to be coherent when I was like on live.
So this is before you go on.
Point.
You're 19 years old, and they're offering you alcohol. That's classy.
Yeah,
okay, this is what I mean. Like, Ian clearly hasn't never gone to a party. Like, she's a 19-year-old girl, 19-year-old girl in Miami by herself. She said that she doesn't live there. And didn't she say she went to a club already? Like, are we really gonna act like this girl wasn't drinking? Like, how classy? Like, I went to parties before, and in every single party that I went to, although I didn't drink, people came up to me and offered me drinks. This is what happens at parties, unless I'm wrong. I mean, again, I only went to a handful of them. It's not like I'm, vastly educated on the party scene, but it's pretty freaking normal.
White Claw, so I was like, "No, thank you." And they were like,
"It's a White Claw
too." I took the White Claw and I opened it and pretended like,
you're not being Bill Cosby up in the
street. In fact, to take an alcoholic beverage, we love that.
And then after that, the one guy, he came out with like a tequila bottle. I don't know where he got this bottle from, but he was like, "Oh, who wants to take a shot with me?" And the two other girls were like, "No, thank you." And then he looked over at me and my friend, and he was like, "Come on, guys, come on, take a shot with me. Don't make me do this by myself." And so my friend was like, "You know what, whatever, I'll just do it." So he could stop asking, basically. And she took the...
She could have just said no. Like, she's trying to act like she was peer pressure to do this stuff. Like, this is what I mean when it comes to this type of stories. Women want all the power, but none of the responsibility. And this is no like red pill conversation or like red pill point. But one of the things that I have noticed is when girls are telling stories, they take away all their agency. Agency just means like their age. She's 18. She's not 14. And yes, the legal age is 21 to drink, but she's in Miami by herself. Like, no one that is watching this genuinely believes that this girl was not drinking when she was going to parties and stuff like that.
Shot with him, and then from there on, like, they just did all the advertising and like taking pictures of us for the thumbnail. And Myron came out, and actually, like, he's pretty tall. I told Sam this, like, when I was like telling her the notes and stuff. He's a very tall person in person, but
so tall.
He came out, and I was like, not expecting him to look the way he did. And Walter came up to me, and he said to me, "Do you want to go on a double date with me and Myron?" And I said, "With who?" And he said, "Your friend." So they wanted to go on a double date with my friend, me, and Fresh and Fit. And they said that they wanted to vlog it. And then
it's hella weird. It's fucking hella weird vlogging shit. There's this guy on YouTube called, I believe his name is Skipper. He basically goes on dates and vlogs it. Guys, put your fucking phone away whenever you go on dates. Don't block that shit.
Yeah,
Break Invasion vibes. Remember he used to do that? So again, you're 19, he's 35, and he's trying to take you out on a date?
Yeah, she's 19. He keeps repeating it. She's 19. She's not 12. Like, she is grown enough to make decisions for herself. But,
So yeah, Walter was the one that approached me on it. Mind you, I didn't say a word to Myron, so I never like knew who, like, I didn't know him in person. I knew him from like social media, but like he never spoke to me the whole time until we got on the podcast. So Walter came up to me like with this proposition of, we're gonna go on a vlog and like it's gonna be a big deal. And I simply was like, no, like I'll pass on it, simply because I don't want to be associated with them, like at all. Like,
smart.
So
she doesn't want to be associated with them, but she's going on a podcast with them. And keep in mind, the podcast, the late night podcast, I don't know from what time to what time it is. I know they have a morning podcast that I think it is from like 6 to 8. I don't know. I don't watch their stuff. But, it's a late night podcast. So you don't want to be associated with them, but you're the one that asked to be on the podcast.
I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. And then after that, Myron came over and he said, can you guys believe Ethan Klein just did a video about us? Da, 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 da. And then that's when I was smiling because I was like, I'm a fan. So I was just thinking,
you're like, I'm gonna end up on his show talking about this.
Yeah.
What was he excited or was he like pissed about it?
No. Well, he was like laughing, but the thing with him is like, I don't have my PhD or anything, but I think he's very easy to read, that he laughs over his insecurities. Like, it's so obvious how like, oh yeah, ha, 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 I'm not mad about this, but he clearly is.
Right.
And
oh wow.
He like tries to make it. He does it several times when women debate him. He just laughs over it, but he makes himself look 10 times more stupid. But he did it like that. He was like, "Oh my, can you believe Ethan? What a guy. He's talking about."
All right, I get it.
And I was smiling like on the couch, and I was next to Walter, and I look over at Walter, and I said, "So you guys gonna go on the podcast?" And he was like, "We're gonna think about it." And then that's when I said to Walter. And I said to Walter, well, I actually watched the H3 podcast, so. And he was like, yeah, that guy, yeah, I don't know. They were just very, like, they just switched the subject right away. So.
By the way, I just want to note how creepy it is that they're trying to get you group of girls alcoholed up when the two of them don't drink. I mean, that's so messed up. Not just from like, first of all, they're trying to make you guys look dumb on the show, and then look.
They're just offering them drinks. That is pretty normal. Like usually in general, whenever you have visitors coming over, you offer them something. You offer them drinks, beverages, food. Like he offered them a White Claw. Like he was not offering them cocaine. He was not offering them any type of crazy like illegal drugs or some shit like that. Like it was just a freaking White Claw. You can stop. You can just sip it once and then just not sip it again. I don't know. Like he's trying to make it seem like these girls are retarded and they cannot make decisions for themselves. Like, oh, they're trying to get them drunk. They're trying to get them drunk.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
And then he's also trying to take you out on a date. I mean, the whole thing is just weird and inappropriate.
What the fuck is so wrong about asking a girl on a date? Like, there's no way in hell that you can make the freaking fresh and fit guys likable. There's nothing wrong with asking a girl out on a date. Like, she's 19. Again, like she has some agency. She has a voice. Why is he acting like she doesn't?
And vlog it, I guess. I don't know.
Like this guy never went out on a date before. I swear to God.
And vlog it, I guess.
Oh yeah, and vlog it because they got to prove that we're fucking. Yo, we get chicks, bro.
Make sure you guys subscribe.
Yeah.
But
that's not a bit weird, but I mean, I think that whole video.
So after that, like they started talking about you and the H3 podcast. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it today. So they added it to their segment at the end of the show. And that's when I went on the show. They started, and like the whole time I felt like I was sweating because like the monitor is huge, like right next to you. So like I'm trying not to look into this camera. And they start the show. It was very painful to sit through the whole thing because like I knew the whole reason why I wanted to be on the show was because I didn't know who they were until the day before when I did my research, and I was like, I would love to go on this podcast and like make them look stupid in some type of way. And so
and that's her fucking ego. It's two guys she clearly doesn't like, but she's talking about like, oh well, you know, I want her to go into the podcast and make him look stupid. You want her to go on a podcast just to argue with two guys you don't like. It's weird.
I went on the podcast and then
like, where's this girl's father?
Like, is it okay for a guy to have a side girl? And I was like, no. And then they said the same thing for a girl. Like, can a girl have a side guy? And I said, no, like, I think it's equal when you're in a relationship. Like, there's respect.
Fascinating conversation, by the way.
Yeah,
is it okay to cheat on your partner? Go ahead, yes or no?
Man, it's the Fresh and Fit podcast. Like, you're not watching Jordan Peterson. You know what I'm saying? Like what do you expect? Like, he's over here acting like there's Jordan Peterson fucking podcast with Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson is Fresh and Fit. They talk about dating. There's really no surprise there. I don't understand what the big fuss is about, but you know, Ian.
No, it was a great discussion, like the title. But
right.
So it was. They
Just
said something
broad.
at the beginning where like they call it a plan, where they know that. So I think they picked up on it now. Some girls go on the show to like pretend that they're interested to like debate them. So over some time, I think Myron picked me out of the crowd, and he was like, "Oh, you." He made a joke about The Sims. He said that, "Oh, I think you played The Sims because you want to make it like an all-girl world," like basically calling me a feminist. And
The worst insult, of course.
I mean, I don't know. Are you a feminist?
yeah, and I just laughed, and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then when I had said the whole thing about a girl having a side guy and a guy having a side girl, I said I think that both a man and a woman should be equal in a relationship where you guys need to respect each other. And he basically said, "So you think men and women are the same?" And I said, "No, I don't think men and women are the same."
Dude, the dude is like, he has one trick.
Mhm.
He literally just tries to drive every conversation of how men and women are fundamentally different.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
agree with him
anyone that
there.
tells you that's
He
crazy.
kind of does that a lot.
I see where he's trying to lead the conversation in a way where he's comfortable
Yeah.
talking about it.
And he was like, "I'm going to take a note of that. We're going to come back to this discussion." And I was like, "I don't think men and women are the same, but when it comes to a relationship, it's like you're basically one person at the end of the day, so they're the same." And he was like, "I disagree." And the whole, like, after that, like, the rest of the podcast, like, he would find any time that he could to, like, soundbite me or, like, play the soundboard or, like, do something. And then after that, like, I was, like, over it by the end of the show. But at the end of the podcast, they were reading the super chat. And, of course, all of his fans were coming at me the whole time. And they were saying, like, "Oh, she doesn't like biological reality," meaning, like, you know, like...
Yeah, I mean, it's a
like
bunch of
the fact that
losers
men
either
can
way.
cheat and women can't.
I don't know why you're in a
Yeah,
podcast full of
biological
losers.
reality. Apparently, on in the Fresh and Fit universe, it's just understood by the men, of course. The women, they still haven't got that memo. We're working on that, boys. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I basically just, like, that's my time. Like, I took it as my time to shine because it was, like, final thoughts. And they were like, "Oh, what do you have a rebuttal against that?" And I basically said, it's not that I don't like this biological reality. It's the fact that I don't like that your podcast sits here and likes to normalize this thing. And he was like, "Oh, you think we normalize these things?" And I said, "Yeah, I think you like to sit here and say that men can cheat and women need to get over it." And he went quiet and he said, "Well, I think women can cheat." And I said, "At the end of the day, no one should be sitting here talking about cheating and how it's okay and how I have to deal with it if a man has a Rolls Royce or this and that. Because at the end of the day, no one gives a crap about that. Like, I don't care what you have. All I care about is respect." And then they
I care about his respect, but you're
like, "Why do you want to feed into
you almost had sex with Myron.
money, but you sit here like and feed into
It's like,
it doesn't
that
make
tells
any
me
sense
everything
to
I
me,
need
but
to know about the
The
respect you want.
double standard to me that's always funny is like, they want a young, beautiful, perfect-bodied woman, right? That's all they care about. They want them dumb and young. And so if a woman wants you for your money, what's the fucking difference between the two?
Yeah, no, it's. But he said something along that line during the podcast where, "Well, those are my standards," and like he said, he basically says the same thing that he did for the Australian people, where he said, "Open on my end, closed on yours." Like, that's his whole mindset, and it's just embarrassing. But it was just funny to see, like, my experience with him afterwards, which was after the show ended, they gave us a ride home. So we had gotten into the car. And they closed off the podcast talking about you. They said, "Oh, well, this guy just challenged us." And also, by the way, they subscribed to you. They're subscribed to the H3 podcast.
Of course they are. And by the way, that invite is still open, which they're too cowardly to accept. It's pathetic at this point.
Well, after they said, like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to take on the challenge," when they said it on live, we had gotten into the car afterwards, and it was me, my friend, Fresh and Fit, and then another girl from the show. And as we were driving back to my friend's apartment, they started talking. I basically brought it up, and I was like, "So you guys are going to debate Ethan?" And they said, "Nah, we're not going to do it. Like, he's just going to make fun of us the whole time." And I was like, I don't think he would do that. But
me? I would never do that.
Yeah. And
no, but I actually I am genuinely interested in having discussing these issues with them. Not that I think it's like, I don't think you can really get anywhere with them. But there you go. You see, their whole plan from the beginning was to dodge us.
Yeah, they were basically saying all of that, and then we got back to the apartment, and I left my wallet, and I guess it was a gift from God.
This is where the bullshit starts.
I left my wallet in Myron's car because he was the one driving, and my friend's keys were in my wallet, so we had to get the wallet back because we couldn't get back into the apartment. Mind you, it's like 5 a.m. in Miami, and we start calling Walter. He's not answering. It's like a whole game of cat and mouse. And Myron gets the wallet, and Walter was like, "Oh, he wants your friend's number if he's gonna bring back the wallet," meaning me. So I was like, sure, like I need my wallet. Like I'm not gonna text this guy anyways. So he gets my number and he brings back the wallet, and I had basically texted him saying like, "Don't steal my wallet," like before he put it back. And then he started talking about how I look like Tim Pool, and I was like, "What?"
Sorry. Is that his way of coming on to you?
I guess. I thought I don't know. It was just, he sent me.
I tell that to Ela sometimes when I want to be really nice when she looked really good. Hey, you look like Tim Pool.
Yeah, he's got such.
Can I see a picture of you, or do you not want me to draw attention to it?
Actually, I mean, if I could turn on the camera. I just don't want to show my face on the stream.
Well, I want to rate you on a scale of Tim Pool.
I think I'm pretty Tim Pool.
To regular.
You know what the problem is though? It's definitely.
I sent I think I sent a few pictures to Sam.
All right, let's pull it up. So go continue on with his attempting to courting you while I pull up this. Yeah.
So so he said I look like Tim Pool, and then I guess that was his way of flirting. I don't know. And then he tried to maintain a conversation with me like through text, and I was like not answering him because I had gotten my wallet back. And I only had about like 3 more days I had left in my trip, and me and my friend were saying like, it would be fun to sit here and like make him look dumb. Like he sits here and he thinks that he can get all these women, but then a 19-year-old like doesn't like
but 19-year-old gets him.
Basically he kept like texting me every day. Like when I wouldn't respond, he would just say hello, like called me. I never answered. And then eventually I was like
desperate.
And I was like, if I'm gonna hang out with him, like I'm okay to hang out with him to like, because like you can't interrupt him on the podcast, but I can interrupt you at dinner. So
see, that's so weird. Like,
yeah, if we're gonna hang out, I want to eat dinner or.
Like she keeps claiming, like, well, I didn't have his number. It's like, okay, but then somehow you guys talked enough that you accept dinner because you want to make him look dumb. Like, why? Like, that's weird. That's fucking weird. Like, why would you associate yourself with someone that you don't really want to talk about? Because
for lunch, simple. And he said,
you want to make him look dumb. Just don't hang out with him. You said that you didn't want to hang out with those guys.
I was like, no, he said if you can handle this. And I said,
wait, hold on. I have a picture of you. Hold on. I don't know. I hate to break it to you, but
yeah, I'm pretty simple.
That is a spitting image of. I don't know if you can see it. It is literally a picture of Tim Pool. I'm not making fun of the way you look.
No, I'm trying to. I was supposed to stay anonymous. Why'd you guys show a picture?
Yeah, sorry. Well, if you want to be anonymous, we don't have to pull it up. No big deal.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's just because like I'd rather not like get wrapped into their BS because
I mean, you're working in a live podcast with them. I'm pretty sure guys can figure who the hell you are. I don't know why you're trying to hide it. Like, I don't hide it now.
I remember him saying that if you go to his broom shop.
What? Oh yeah, something about beating up each other with a broom or some shit.
Right. Yeah.
I think the broom is interesting. I think he's tapping into some trauma. Yeah, did you find a picture, Sam?
Yeah, so basically he throughout the.
By the way, sorry, I gotta cut you off.
It's okay.
This person just said she's definitely trolling you all. I should have said this at the top. We've confirmed that she's been on the show.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Ian confirmed that she was in the show, but he didn't confirm her story.
This is a real person who's been on the show. We confirmed it. So I should have said that at the top. But all right, let me see. I got a picture.
It's kind of weird still, though, but whatever.
What the hell? Should I show it or no? Oh, don't show it.
Yeah, don't.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to show it.
No.
Oh, don't show it.
You could describe it. I mean.
All right, she's wearing a beanie. She appears to be bald.
I don't know what she cares. Like, oh, don't show me, but you're already in the podcast already. What's the big deal?
Young, beautiful girl that looks nothing like Tim Pool.
I don't see any resemblance.
whatsoever. So.
But that's really an interesting pickup line. Yeah. You know, I'm sure it's a conversation starter. There you go.
He that's how he started it all. But from there, he just basically just kept texting me like every day, like hey, like and like he would ask to hang out, but I would make up an excuse, like, oh no, sorry, I have to do.
Like, how are you guys still texting?
I'm hanging out with my friend.
That's awesome.
And I basically I would hint at it like several times, not hint at it, but I would say like, if we're gonna go out, can Izzy and Walter? So can my friend and Walter come? And he was like, oh, well, you can't leave your friend alone. And I was like, not really. Because it was just, I never wanted to be alone with him at all.
You didn't want to be alone with him.
And
but you wanted to go on a date with him just to argue.
In Miami, and I thought it was going to be my last day, but I had got stuck there because of a snowstorm back at home. So I thought it was my last day, and me and my friend had gone out to the club that was around her area. And when we went in there, we were doing our own thing, and Walter had showed up, and he came up to us. Like, we went to his table, he was talking to us, and he comes straight up to me and he says, well, Myron wants you. And I said, a child? Like, because I know I'm not a minor.
I mean, you're 19, and
I'm freshly out of being a minor.
Yeah, like, I mean, you practically just finished high school.
Like, why does I don't know why he's trying so hard to make that weird. It's like, you're not underage. You're 19, alone in Miami, going to clubs and drinking. No one believes that you went to Miami and you were a saint. Right? You went to a podcast of a man that you claimed you didn't like to argue with him. And this is something that I have heard not only from her, but like from other girls. Like, there are plenty of girls that I know personally, and plenty of guys who have told me stories that they literally are hanging out with a girl, and the sole reason why this bitch is hanging out with them is because she wants to fucking argue. She wants to just prove a point. I want to prove a point. What is your point? I don't know, but I just want to prove a point to you. This is so common from some girls. Like, some girls are just psycho like that. They literally just want to hang out with you just to argue with you. They hate your guts, but they just want to argue with you. Now she's taking away her agency. That's something that I notice a lot in their stories, and especially a lot with like victims and stuff like that. Like, they're all strong and independent. They're all strong and independent, but as soon as being strong and independent and being the right age, right, being 19 is an inconvenience, that I immediately want to be like, but I'm a child. Like, you were not a child when you went by yourself to Miami. I'm pretty sure you went to your parents and you told them, I'm a grown woman. I can make my own decisions. That's why they let you go to Miami by yourself. Or whatever. This broad is crazy.
At that point, right?
Yeah, I probably just finished my first year of college, but
so was it weird for you for this 35-year-old man to be so persistently pursuing you?
Yeah, it was very. What I describe it as, like, when I on the podcast, I was sick to my stomach just being on the podcast itself.
But why are you
like, just being in his presence, like, later in the night, I felt very sick because it was just weird, like, just like.
So I find it odd too that his buddy, these guys they're like kindergartens. Like, he's sending his buddy, he'd be like, hey, you want to go on a double date? Or, yo, my buddy really likes you. It's like, dude, this guy talks about alpha maleness. He's sending love notes through his buddy, which is cute, you know.
Yeah, Ethan is probably.
I think I said that there's a rule that for a guy to date someone, it's half your age plus
like
7 or something, like 12, and I am pretty sure I'm way below that. Even if that was a rule.
What's the rule?
I like how she loves bringing her age now.
Like, I've heard many times, and I don't think 19 would be acceptable under that rule to a 30.
Wait, that's interesting. So wait, I'm 36. So I go times 2 plus 7.
No, divided by 2 plus 7.
It would be 25.
25? That seems young for me. 25.
I mean, this is not an actual rule.
This isn't like a law or
people say. Yeah. It's kind of just like a guideline. But yeah, I mean, if he's 35.
So wait, if you're 60, wait, I'm interested by this rule. So it's minus 2.
No, divided by 2.
Yeah, plus 7. 37 if you're 60. See, that seems fine to me. I mean, obviously, big gap. Okay.
But yeah, if it was an actual rule, yeah, he would have failed that one.
Yeah.
But it's pretty rough. But he, yeah, I guess he said to Walter, like, a child, like, I'm young. And I said, what is it so attractive about me that he wants me this bad? That it's been like 3 days that he can't get out of my cell phone. And also he talks about being this famous #1 men's podcast, but you're stuck on a 19-year-old.
#1 men's podcast. What does that even mean?
Like,
She just bringing
#1 human trafficking.
you're stuck on a
podcast in the
19-year-old.
world.
Like she basically wants to call him a pedophile, but
It's
she
not
can't
the
because she's
competition
19.
is tight.
That's basically what she's trying to say.
yeah, no, it's, but when I had asked him, like, what is it about me that he's so attracted to? He said, you're his type. Again, I said a child, and he said,
So weird,
he
man.
Said, no, he said, no, you're just his type. And I said, can you elaborate? But he wouldn't elaborate. So I said to him, I said, I disagree on everything that he says. I'm pretty sure I look pretty young, and I don't know what it is like about whatever. So we get to the point of Walter just keeps saying that Myron wants me, and I was like, okay, then I'll get back to him later. Then I was trying to avoid him as much as possible. And then the night goes on, and I have like a drink or two with my friend, and I'm like ready to eat food with everybody. So we tell Walter, can we go get food? And he's like, yeah, sure, like let's get in the car. So we get in the car, my friend is in the front seat, I'm in the back seat, Walter's in the front. And they're driving, and Myron just kept saying like, oh, do you want to go get something to eat?
How are you with him?
My friend and Walter. And he was like, yeah, sure. I also tried getting Myron out to the club. So again, like I didn't want to be alone with him. And he refused to go to the club because he said clubs for losers.
Wait, hold up, bro. Hold up, bro.
But
You tried to get Myron to the club. You didn't want to be alone with him. Yet you keep mentioning your freaking age, because apparently you're not old enough to call an Uber to your house and just stay there. Clearly your friend wants to hang out with freaking the other one with Fresh. So okay, let her be. Jesus Christ! Like this story is so stupid to me. It's just another tale of another girl that just wants to argue with fucking like. And this is the thing. I knew of a girl that argued with this fucking guy over and over again, and she kept mentioning it's just that he's so arrogant, and I just gotta prove him wrong. And I'm like, why can't you just let this guy go? You clearly don't like him, apparently. Apparently you don't like him. But all you talk about is him. Because you want to argue. And who the fuck raised this type of girls?
I don't know what he meant by that, but so Walter, my friend was like, oh yeah, that's great, like let's get food with each other, and Walter looked over and like signaled her like, no, like we're not doing that. So eventually, like we pull up in front of the podcast apartment, and Myron's coming out of the building, and I get out of the car, and Walter leaves with my friend and took her to like another club. So I'm with Myron by myself. So we get into his car, and he drives us to like this spot. I don't know why it was open at 5 a.m., but he
this is Miami.
From the minute I
Shit.
saw him when I got home to the minute that I left.
Oh my god.
I was debating him the whole time, and not even debating, just
all right. Like this is weird. She goes like, she's like, oh my god, it's I don't know why this place is open at 5 a.m. It's Miami. Like I live in New York City. I can get a pizza right now if I wanted to. Like, like it's really not that fucking difficult to get a fucking pizza in like cities and stuff like that. It's pretty freaking common. Two, you keep claiming that you don't want to be next to this guy, but for some reason, like you're incapable of just calling an Uber. Apparently.
And fun fact, he told me that he's never been in a relationship. So I had asked him, so what gives you the right to sit there and have a podcast?
Wait. He's never been in a relationship?
That's what he claims. He said that, yeah, he's had a few girls here and there. I think he mentioned it on the episode that I was on too. But he said that he's never been in a relationship before.
So you're telling me these toxic red pill this theory of men can cheat, women can't, has not worked out for him really at all, has it? Which is so unexpected.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you can see my screen, but this is what you could have been like if you would have only accepted fit into your life, you know, you guys could have been a beautiful couple like these two here. I think you're really missing out on something special.
So frustrated.
Yeah, it was just.
So they got you alone with him.
Yeah, so basically my friend was alone with Fresh and I was alone with Fit. Perfect.
Jesus.
Perfect night. And
yo, you can
we
just
get to, like,
leave.
this restaurant,
Why
and
can't you
I basically
leave?
ask him like, what are your political views? I'm asking about all of
Why, yo?
Because I'm thinking like it won't.
For some, I don't know why. Listen, I'm sorry, girls. This is just from my experience. Like, no guy wants to talk to you about fucking politics. I'm sorry. Like, I have never met a single guy on this planet Earth that want to talk to girls about fucking politics. Like, girls always try so fucking hard to be like highly interesting. Just like, why can't you just have a normal conversation about shit? I don't know, about anything. But you want to talk about politics? What are your political views? Sounds like Jen and Smith. Can we talk about like the social and economic state of the world? What are you talking about, bruv? Like, I don't want to talk to you about no fucking politics and Joe Biden and the war in Ukraine. You're not someone I'm gonna go to have this type of conversation. But again, clearly she just wanted to be with this fucking guy because she just wanted to argue. Like, who the fuck raised this girl, man? Like, I fucking hate this guy. You hate this guy, but why are you with him? I just gotta argue him about the political and economic state of the world. Bitch, I swear to fucking God. Like, who the fuck raised you? Like, if I was her dad and I found this bullshit out, yo, I would slap the hell out of her. Like, what's wrong with you, child? What's wrong with you? You were the guy, whatever. You were the guy that you found sketchy, apparently. Sorry, guys. I'm going to
this nice off camera. Maybe Myron's the same way. Nope, I was wrong. In fact, he's worse. But so whatever. The whole time I'm just like asking him his views. I'm debating him. He said something about like the thing too that he's
debating him.
He spits out vocab vomit.
Yo, why are you debating him? You don't like this guy. This is so common with girls. Like, straight up, like, no offense to girls, man. And maybe, listen, I'm a guy. I only date girls. You know? I was about to fuck up there. I'm a guy. I only date guys. Hey, man, you only gay if you're gay, right? You only gay if you're gay. But, like, you don't like this guy, but you went into his podcast. You don't like this guy, but you got into his car. You don't like this guy, but you guys are going out to eat. You don't like this guy, but later on the pod, she talks about she ended up alone in his room. Oh, she's already there. She's already alone in his room. She doesn't like this guy. I don't like this guy, but I'm alone in his room. They didn't kidnap you. It's like you have a phone. You can request an Uber, or you could ask them, hey, I don't want to go into your studio apartment. I want to go home. And if he gives you some fucking attitude, you tell him, let me go right now so I can order an Uber, or you're going to be in deep shit. But that's not what the fuck you wanted. You just wanted to argue with this guy about fucking politics. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that bullshit? Can you imagine that fucking bullshit? Like, if I ever go on a date with a girl and she's talking about fucking politics, like, hey, what do you think about the war in Ukraine? What do you think about the war in Ukraine, you dumb broad? You're talking about the war in fucking Ukraine. You don't care about the war. Yes, I do. What's your political statement? How about what do you think about Kamala Harris? Fuck you think about Kamala Harris? Fuck you think about this dick? How about that? What are you talking about? Who the fuck goes on a date talking about politics? That's weird as fuck. That shit just angered me. I don't know. I'm just debating on his political views. Like, who the fuck goes out with a girl to talk about fucking politics? I'm gonna keep repeating that shit. That's weird.
And he thinks that he sounds smart, but it's like I'm confused. Like, speak like we're off camera. You can speak English now, not rental data. Like, no
rental data.
He just doesn't stop. So like I'm just like whatever. So that's the whole conversation throughout the dinner. And then we're driving back, and mind you, I had said like, oh, we're gonna go meet my Walter and my friend now, right? And he said, yeah. I'm talking to him. I'm facing him in the driver's seat. I'm still going. I'm passionate. He is telling him my views.
Why are you with him?
It's a podcast studio. So I'm like,
I'm passionate. You hate this fucking guy.
And we get back up into the podcast studio and we go inside. He's like, oh, I'm just picking up something. I just had to grab something from the studio. And it's like 4 or 5 a.m. in Miami, and like no one's in the studio, but the lights are all on. They have everything set up, and I already made the way of the apartment. So I'm sitting in the kitchen area of the podcast studio, and he comes over to me and he says, of course you would wear your shoes, because I forgot to take off my shoes.
Okay.
And yeah. And he was like, of course you would wear your shoes. And then I had like this little vape that my friend had.
Okay.
And I think I hit it once, and he goes, oh, and of course he would do that in here too. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I started laughing because I thought he was joking, but he seemed very upset. So I was like, okay. So he said, oh, you can just go to the balcony with your shoes and everything. And I was like, okay. I'm walking out to the balcony, and there's like a door that I hadn't seen open before. Like basically it's an apartment that they made into a studio. So that was the bedroom. So I'm walking like towards the bedroom into the balcony, like towards the balcony, and he's standing at the door frame, and he just grabs my face and kisses me.
Wow. There you go. He was reading the room, good at reading the signal.
Yeah.
That was the signal. That was the fucking signal. What are you talking about? Look, I am not great at signals. And I honestly always err in the side of caution. Like, I don't take my shots sometimes because I'll be honest, like I'm a fucking straight up crucified bitch. But if I bring a girl to my apartment at 5 a.m. and this bitch is trying to talk to me about fucking politics, out of all fucking things, that's how you know your girl is interested in you. When a girl starts talking to you about fucking politics, so she just want to fucking argue about shit, she's really into you. So this broad goes into his apartment at 5 a.m. What the fuck are you doing at 5 a.m.? I'm gonna take my shot. What the fuck are you talking about? That is reading the room, but Ian Klein is clearly never dated before.
And kisses me. I'm like, no thanks. Like, I'm like, no thanks. Mind you, this man is like 6'7". He's already a.
Did he lead with tongue or no?
I don't even like thinking about it. I just know that he
sorry.
Did he lead with tongue? Okay, Ian.
No,
but he's the creepy one. The fucking guy. The girl is at his apartment at 5 a.m.
He had kissed me, and then I like.
Yo, if a daughter of mine ever comes up to me and she's like, Dad, I had a horrible experience in Miami. Oh, what happened, daughter? I fucking met this guy. What this guy? What did he? Oh, you met a guy. What did he do? Like, yo, she's gonna look like Amber Heard. Like this is what the fuck. I'm gonna tell the story the way Amber Heard would have told it. This is this broad. Dad, this guy that I fucking hated. Oh my daughter, what the fuck did he do? Did he touch you? No, I went to his podcast. You went to his podcast? Yeah, but I thought you said you hated him. I wanted him to leave me alone, but I ended up in his room. You ended up in his room. Did he intoxicate you? Did he Bill Cosby you? Bill Cosby you? Dad, I just wanted to argue with him about politics. You wanted to argue with him about politics. What are you talking about? You want to argue with this man about fucking politics? Dad, I just fucking hated him. And I was passionate. You were passionate about politics? You said you hated this guy. I hated him, Dad. I hated him, but I went into his apartment at 5 a.m. because he left me stranded. He took your phone. Well, no, I could have called an Uber whenever the fuck I wanted, but I just wanted him to leave me alone. You wanted him to leave you alone. So did you tell him that? No, I texted him. Like, what are you talking about, bitch? Like, what are you talking about? What is this bro talking about? This bitch is retarded. I hate this fucking guy. I hate this guy, but you want to argue with this man about politics. That thing bothers me. Because I keep repeating it. She keeps talking about I was passionate. It's like, what are you passionate about? Take this passion to the room. What the fuck are you gonna do? What are you talking about?
I just was like, no thanks, like, whatever. And I was by myself, and I had like a bad experience from past relationships. So also he's very like aggressive online. So I didn't know what he was capable of if I denied it. So I just pushed him off, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the balcony. And he goes, you need mouthwash.
Yeah, what? Oh my
He was
God,
like,
bro.
he needs mouthwash. I'm pretty sure. I think I sent some text over to Sam because I
I got the text here.
I'm gonna give an update because fuck it. This is not the updated version. There's a text that Fresh and Fit leaked from their conversation, and just I guess just to make a long story short, basically like lied about this whole situation. Like trying to make it seem like she was the one hiding and just not trying to talk to him, when in reality she's the one DMing him and texting him. They actually had like a whole proper conversation. So by all means, I mean, this girl clearly was interested in this guy. But
my friend the whole time you see me say like he just told me to get mouthwash or something.
Here, let me pull up this text. Again, guys, we have receipts. This is fully vetted. Bro, mine just grabbed.
This is not fully vetted, Ian. You literally just found this story on Wish, right? You just vetted that she was an actual fucking girl that was on the podcast, but you didn't do any extra. You didn't even question her. Like this is why girls like Amber Heard just do so much damage. This is why girls like Amber Heard do so much damage. Because people like Ian just believe everything they say. They don't question it. They don't ask anything. It's just whatever. I'm almost done.
To make out, and he goes, "Get your Listerine. You taste like alcohol." No, he obviously knows you came from the club. He's disgusting. Wait till I get home. As Walter driving.
She came from the club. Remember that.
Ask Walter if he can pick me up from the studio to drive us both home. I'm about to walk. Answer now. She's all worried about you, bro.
Oh wait, yeah.
Please let me know. Are you okay? I'm good, bro. He's disgusting.
Before you continue,
oh, you want me to stop?
Yeah. You can continue after, like, because like it's just like the timeline for it, because it's gonna be like a big. I'm leading up with the suspense, But
Go ahead, yeah.
I come back from the balcony because I again like I went to the balcony and tried to stay as much as I could out there so he could just like be like, okay, like let me bring her home now, like get tired of me basically.
Why didn't you just tell him?
And then I go to the bathroom like.
Why don't you tell him? Like you have given this whole story and you're trying to make it seem like. Why don't you just tell him, hey, I want to go home. Hey, I'm leaving. Like, no way has this girl ever admitted that he was not going to let her out. I didn't see a single text that shows that this man was going to fucking tell this girl, hey, you're not going anywhere, and that is the end of it. Like, nowhere in this conversation did he say anything like that. But she's trying to make it seem like this man was holding her hostage. But, whatever. Let's just finish this bullshit ass story because I'm trying to get the fuck out of here.
He's like, that's not where the mouthwash is. So I was like, oh, okay, where's the mouthwash? And he points to like the bedroom bathroom.
Are you a little scared at this moment?
I was very uncomfortable. I was very like.
Then why don't you just tell him?
I didn't know. Again, like a lot of people, I didn't want to speak out about this either because again, like there's alcohol involved. Like a lot of women try to speak out about stuff like this, and you usually get the whole like you asked for it if you didn't do this or that, the third.
Bro, no. Stop doing this. This is why I think, and I'm so glad that girls like Amber Heard are getting checked. You girls need to just fucking start assassinating bitches like this, and in the literal sense. But you guys you girls gotta call them out. Like, what do you mean you asked for it? What you said over and over again that you hated this fucking guy, but yet you're going out with him. Yet he showed messages that you were texting him nonstop. You were having an actual conversation. It's not like he was texting you paragraphs and you were like, "Okay," right? You were going back and forth with conversations. You say that you hate him, but you're going out to the club with him. You're going out to his house at 5 a.m., right? And if you're gonna make the argument, well, just because a girl goes, come on, no one is actually gonna make the argument, right? Like, just because a girl goes to your house at 5 a.m. doesn't mean she wants to sleep with you. Good Lord, like it means something. Fuck you doing at my house at 5 a.m. Like, you think we're gonna play poker at 5 a.m.? You think we're gonna play House of Cards? Obviously, I am there all for another fucking reason. Like, come on, especially because you know what the fuck these guys are about. Like, this guy's no fucking saint. Hi.
I didn't it was like a fight or flight or like freeze. So I basically froze. Like I didn't know what to do, but I was just like keeping in touch with my friend. Like, hey, like, what are you guys doing? Like, can we just go home? But
yeah, I mean,
he was just trying to keep me there.
At this moment, it does sound a little scary that you're in this studio with this massive dude.
First of all, he's not that massive, but like, okay, she's at a studio with this fucking dude. Okay, fine. I'm playing the game at the same time. Sorry. She's at the studio with this dude. Okay, yes, this dude is taller than her and stronger than her. Yes, but this dude hasn't showed a single shred of evidence that he will ever do anything to her, and she hasn't even used her mouth once, except for that kissing. But what I'm saying is, like, she hasn't even said once, "Hey, I want to go home. Hey, I don't want to go to the club with you. Can or like, hey, I don't want to go to a club with you. Can you just take me home? Hey, you know what? I'm just gonna take an Uber. Like, you have your money with you, right? I mean, you are from another state. You came from another state. This is your vacation. You have money with you. You have cash. But out of nowhere, oh shit. Whatever, man. This story is so
just
fucking
come
dumb.
on to you. He tried to kiss you. You rejected him, and now he's kind of ordering you around to mouthwash.
Okay, like Ian, fucking idiot. Like, and you're doing it. That's the crazy part.
Because at that point, it's like, well, why am I mouthwashing? Are you going to try to make out with me more?
Yeah, and I didn't really see the point in doing the mouthwash. Of like, I don't know. So I just go into this bathroom that he led me to. Like, he didn't lead me to. He just pointed to it. And also, I always forget this part whenever I tell this story. But like, a little bit beforehand, I had opened the fridge before like he kissed me and stuff. I had opened the fridge and I saw like he had white.
Look at this bullshit. Look at this bullshit. Look at this bullshit.
Claws, like, because they have like alcohol in the fridge and stuff. And they had a White Claw in the fridge, and I was like, "Oh, White Claw!" I was like, "Oh, can I have one?" Like as a joke, and he was like, "Yeah, you can have one, but just don't tell anybody."
Well, you broke that promise.
Okay. Okay, and you went into his fridge. You knew there were White Claws there because his apartment is the same as the studio, so you knew he had White Claws. Where you think he had the other ones? Up his ass? So then you ask, hey, can I have one? He didn't offer it to you. You looked for it, and he just said, sure, just don't tell anybody. What am I missing here? I just don't understand. What am I missing here? You asked for it. He just said, sure, if you want it. He didn't force you to take anything. He just said, sure, if you want it, go for it. But again, you know, this girl is only old enough when it benefits her. And as soon as there's an inconvenience with her age, she just wants to throw it out the window. Oh, but I'm barely 18. You were not barely 18 when you going to those clubs, were you? You were not barely 18 when you needed to travel by yourself. Whatever.
I was like, oh, can I have one? Like as a joke. And he was like, yeah, you can have one, but just don't tell anybody.
Well, you broke that promise.
Yeah, sorry, Myron. But so fast forward, I'm in this bathroom. I'm standing in the bathroom, like trying to kill time to get like a bit on the balcony. When I come out, he's like laying on this bed.
So wait, you were in the bathroom for a long time, just trying to kill time?
Yeah. I was just like, because hopefully, like I was hoping like time would go by and he would get tired and say like, oh, you have to go. You know, like.
Why didn't you just tell him? The story is so dumb. You clearly hate this guy, but you're at his apartment at 5 a.m. by himself. Why didn't you just tell him, hey, I want to go. I don't want to be here.
Kidding or something.
Yeah. I was dropping a grumpy, but.
Oh, yeah.
And I come back out, and I was wearing like a fresh. Sorry, guys. Excuse me. But I was wearing a fresh and fit hoodie. And
yo, that's wild. This broad, hold up. So this broad hates this guy. She hates him. According to him, she fucking hates this guy. She hates him. And somehow, some way, she's at his apartment, putting on his clothes, drinking mouthwash because he said, get some mouthwash. And instead of just leaving like she said she wanted to, she wants to what? Like, why are you there for?
Where does it go? They say nowhere. So they all just collectively wear fresh and fit like all day long. But whatever. So
and you're wearing it too clearly.
Next to this bed, I'm texting my friend like because we're just keeping in touch with each other back and forth, like what's going on. And she wanted to go home. I wanted to go home. But moral of the story, it's the guys were texting and the girls were texting. So like I kept telling Myron like I want to go home. Like Izzy's waiting for me. Like can we go? And Walter said to my friend at the club, he said, why are you texting her? Why are you texting your friend to go home? Like it was basically like Myron was telling Walter like, why is her friend telling her to go home? Like it was just a whole
what on earth, dude? You're telling him you want to leave. Like what the fuck? Is it in some remote area where you kind of feel like stuck there without assistance? Like where are you?
It was like Miami's very city like, so like it wasn't like.
So you had access to Uber.
I don't know. I just didn't know my way around anywhere, so I was just like, I didn't know what I was doing. And
right,
also,
it's
like,
not your city.
Yeah, I didn't have the keys to my friend's apartment, so I didn't feel like going, like taking an Uber there and just waiting.
Right.
So
why not? You say you feel unsafe.
Her, like, oh, can you have him drive to here to pick me up? And he was refusing, and it was the whole thing.
Because he doesn't have
and
to.
Then, so at this point, like I'm standing next to this bed, and then I'm like trying to like again like give him cues, like I want to leave.
Just tell him you want to leave.
So I sit on the bed, and I'm sitting at the
This story is so fucking annoying, man, because it's like she wants to leave and she's claiming that this guy is holding her hostage. But in reality, all you have to do is ask. If you would have asked like twice, right? Like if she would have asked and she would have said, I want to leave, and then he wouldn't let her, that's different. But you didn't even fucking ask. And clearly this guy is reading the room wrong because you were at his house at 5 a.m. He probably thinks you like him or you want to do something with him. Like, why would you be in another man's house at 5 a.m.? So stupid to me.
They say how girls are. And I'm sitting at this edge of bed. It's like, oh, you can come up a little bit more. So now I come up, but I leave a nice gap between both of us where it's like very obvious. Like, I don't like I'm leaving a gap between us. And I'm on my phone. He's on his phone. And I remember, again, I was speaking about my views. Once again, he just jumps on top of me and starts making out with me.
Okay.
Like trying to kiss me.
Yo, my guy. She keeps talking about, but my views. My views. I want to talk about my views. Bitch, it's 5 a.m. I don't give a fuck about your damn politics. I don't give a fuck if you like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and you support the Me Too and Amber Heard. Go fuck yourself. You're in my apartment at 5 a.m. Fuck you doing in my apartment at 5 a.m.? Is that too insensitive? What are you doing at another man's apartment at 5 a.m.? That's wild to me. That's wild to me. Another man's apartment at 5 a.m. It's like, oh, well, that's his fault, though. Whatever. Just ask him. I want to leave.
I'm like, I have my hands like on him where it's like I don't want him like laying on me like intimately, so I'm just holding my hands up, and I'm like, no. Like this was about like max a minute long, and I was wearing like the shirt.
Yo, a minute. Anyone that has ever kissed anyone knows that a minute is not. And kissing someone for a minute is a long ass fucking time. That's a long ass fucking time.
It's like a very loose shirt, whatever. And he basically lifts up the shirt and made a comment. And then I was like, I'm done. I'm over this. Like, and
wait,
I
you
said
lifted
to him,
up your shirt?
So the comment was that her titties are lopsided, apparently. That's what Myron said in the podcast. But and I think that's what really like messed them up because she was clearly down to do something. But he made a comment and she got back. She went back to her senses. She was like, "Oh my god, I forgot. I fucking hate this guy." Like that's what actually happened. That's what actually happened. Like she knew she fucking hated this fucking guy. Let me see something. Let me see. Yeah, like she she didn't quote unquote like this guy, but in reality, she really wanted to fuck him. Like, let's be honest. Like, that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to fuck him. Let's go with that. She wanted to fuck him. But young boy was not with it. So I guess is the whole story to me is so fucking retarded. Like, I fucking hated him. Okay. Did you leave him? No. I wanted to fuck. It's like, what are you talking about, bro? Why? Whatever, man. Girls like because of girls like her, we have psychos. That's all I want to say. I have like nothing when it comes to health. So we built this house. Oh, I'll continue. I think I'm done after like 2 minutes.
Looked at.
Meta. Shit, my bad, guys. I literally just did a boo boo. How's it did a boo boo? What did you do? I can't find the fucking movie now. This broad is crazy. She needs to get slapped in the face.
Oh. Ugh. He's like, bro, you're so weak. You probably couldn't even restrain a girl against her will. I was like, that's true, actually. In the red pill community, fitness is important in case you need to restrain a woman. That's why we like to be fit. I was like, okay. Yeah, that's actually, I did not expect that twist, but that is disturbing, man. Holy shit, what a fucking loser and dangerous. Why women still don't want me? It's because you're fucking suck. Oh, okay. You responded really loud or something. My apologies. That's totally fine. You want the podium or no? Not with podium worthy. I'll let it slide. I think it's really brave, and it's a reminder that, you know, a simple going out as a woman can become really scary. And it's not something that
not really
think about.
Right, look, I'm
maybe something about fucking story. It's easy to forget just how weird it can be.
Yeah. Okay. Like, no, it's not. Like the whole like going out of something. Like, look, like this is not a fifth world country. This is a first world country. You had options to, you know, get an Uber. You clearly quote unquote hate this fucking guy, but you wanted to argue with him about fucking politics. Like, it's fucking weird. I've heard this shit from women all the fucking time. Like, she gets no sympathy from me. Wow, I can't fucking believe it. This fucking guy just did me like that. You know what? Well, it's just fucking weird in my opinion. But all right, guys, look. It's freaking 4:13 a.m. I am tired as a son of a gun. I think I probably have a lot more to say, but I'm really fucking tired right now. And yeah. So yeah, deuces. I mean, thanks for watching. I had like 3 people watching. That was pretty cool. Yeah. I'll get better at this. I'll try to stream a little bit earlier instead because I'm fucking dead. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching.